Welcome back. It is 9:28. Not everything is focused on what's new as the calendar turns to 2015. This weekend, DeVos Place will be overflowing with vintage treasures at the 9th Annual Grand Rapids Antiques Market. And Melissa Sands actually focuses on one of my favorite things, vintage costume and estate jewelry. So I could talk to you probably for hours, but we only have a few minutes, so we got to get right to it. Tell us about this. And we were talking last year, the snow was not in your favor. So this year, people need to come down there.
Yes,
and check things
definitely.
out.
Last year we had snowpocalypse, and so I know a lot of people who absolutely come to the show every year couldn't make it.
Sure.
So we're excited this year to be back, and we have a lot of really cool things happening. 150 different vendors of all types of vintage and antiques. We have a brand new vintage marketplace this year, which is really cool. And we're going to have 4 appraisers this year. And
Is there a price for some of these appraisals?
there is. There's one appraiser that is coming who does a general line of antiques, art, silver, you name it. He charges $5 an appraisal with a maximum of 3. We're also going to have I'm going to be evaluating collections of costume jewelry and estate jewelry, pre-1980s is what I look for.
Sure.
And we will also have, Michael Osaki has a website called Baseball in the Attic, and he's also a writer for Parade magazine. So he is coming to Grand Rapids from Chicago to try to find something really cool here, sports related, to feature in an upcoming Parade magazine.
Okay, so if someone has really unique collection of any kind of sports memorabilia.
Yeah, pre-70s sports, baseball, Tigers, Lions, I mean, you name it, whatever, you know, old baseball teams that you may never even heard of, uniforms, cards, balls, you name it, bring it in.
All right, so when people come there, they can actually, is there a fee to get in, first of all?
Yep, there's a fee to get in, and then the jewelry appraisals are free, the sports are free, and then we also have Terry McBurney, who does antique fishing, tackle, lures, any kind of antique fishing, and he's free as well. So, you know, before you throw anything away, I mean, it's January, so people go through and they clean house and they get tired of things, and you know what? You need to have some things looked at. If you even suspect that it's old or it belonged to your mom or your grandmother or whoever, bring it in. There is nothing. I always tell people I would rather see it than not, and I would rather than not. So don't be afraid. You know, don't say, "Oh, this is probably worth nothing." You just don't know. You know, there's collectors for everything.
What are some of the big things that you're looking for? I guess someone who focuses on the costume jewelry and the estate jewelry. I mean, what's hot right now when it comes to stuff like that?
Honestly, you were talking about the 80s earlier. 80s jewelry is really hot. Like this is an 80s Valentino necklace. That matte gold, those big, you know, big gold pieces, and kind of the matte or the kind of rose gold. It's just coming back. So when you see it, it'll remind you of a time, and most of the time you can't really figure out why it reminds you, but it's the 80s. And it's hot. So anything pre-1980s, you know, anything signed is good and interesting. But having a signature on it doesn't always mean anything. It's about quality, it's about how it's done, how it's put together, and those are the kinds of things, you know, when I talk to people about their pieces that I'll kind of show and explain, you know, this is a great piece because of the way it's constructed. But yeah, really just about anything, because I really think pre-1980s jewelry, for the most part, was made in the U.S., it was made in Europe, it was made everywhere but China. Now everything is made in China or Taiwan, and this stuff just, it holds its value. And that's the beauty of vintage and antiques, is that things are cheaper based on, you know, their counterparts. You know, comparable things are, vintage is cheaper, it's more cost effective, and it holds its value. So you can buy a couch that's fantastic and vintage, and you're going to pay probably 1/10 of the price. And if you take care of it and you're tired of it, you can get a few bucks back out of it. And you can't say that about much.
Right, sure.
You know.
Now, if people can't make it to the show, unfortunately, is there a way that they can contact you or your company? How can they go about doing
Sure.
this?
You can go to GrandRapidsAntiquesMarket.com and just shoot us a message, and I am the one who will get it.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hop down there and check things out.
I'm excited.
My husband is probably just shivering at home thinking, oh boy, here we go again.
Yes.
But I'm really into this kind of stuff. So.
Well, the husbands need to bring their sports stuff and their fishing stuff, and maybe that'll give them a good reason to come down and, get some information
and bring their wallets and support their wife.
Yes, and
That's all I gotta
while
say.
they're doing that, their wives will disappear and they'll have no idea what's happening. So.
Happy wife, happy life. All right. Thanks so much, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Happy
for
New Year to
stopping
you,
by.
too.
Thank you so much. Your time now is 9:30.